What's going on? Today we're talking about the Shudder original movie, Superhost. Hey guys, if you are new to Victims and Villains, welcome. Victims and Villains is a non-profit and publication which creates content to educate and engage individuals on mental health awareness and suicide prevention through pop culture. So make sure that you guys smash that subscribe button, like button, and follow button wherever you guys are currently watching this from. And if you guys have seen the movie, you guys understand the reference. So Superhost tells the story of a couple of vloggers that basically have a vlog that goes to different Airbnb sites and runs a YouTube page kind of reviewing and going through the properties. There's a subplot woven throughout the course of this film where Osric Chau, also, as I've stated on our podcast several times, I'm terrible at pronouncing names, so if I mispronounce that name, I'm deeply sorry. Where he's going to basically propose to Sara Canning. Though the idea of this chaotic trip getaway, if you will, is basically Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong does go wrong. Chau and Canning deliver just fine performances. The movie as a whole isn't necessarily bad, it's not necessarily gripping either, and I'll tell you what the parts that did grip me in just a few minutes. But these two lead actors really, they deliver fine performances, but it's nothing that really stands out. And when you're talking about performances that stand out, what is better than a good antagonist? After all, your movie is only as good as the villain, right? Gracie Gillam plays Rebecca, who is the Airbnb host, who is a little bit unhinged. Honestly, like I've said before in past videos, the less that you know about certain characters or about the movies, the better the experience is going to be. And the less that you know about Gilliam's performance, the better the movie's going to be. Honestly, she is the clear standout of this movie. Not only is she featured in the poster front and center, but her performance is just chaotic goodness. It's so incredible what she's able to do in this short period of time. Speaking of time, the pacing in this movie, a little bit strange. I say that because the first act and the last act feel really fast-paced. They're really high adrenaline because you're getting to know these characters. You're getting to kind of know the setup in the first act, and it does a really good job at pacing itself, laying a lot of stuff down in a short period of time. The third act, all cards are on the table, and that fast pace continues. And then right in between those two acts, you have the second act that just kind of comes to a lull. At one point in my viewing, I actually checked to see how much time I had left, and I was surprised to learn that I still had 40 minutes left in the movie. The second act has a lot of dead air that I really wish would have been tighter. I really wish that they could have explored Rebecca just a little bit better. Much like a lot of Shudder's releases from this year, this film, once again, hinges on social commentary. Much like the earlier release from this year in Shook, a movie I highly, highly recommend, by the way. We get to see the slow burn process of how social media and really chasing after someone else's approval really impacts your mental health and kind of how far you will go to create creator content, especially when it's your only source of income. I think this is really what this and Gilliam are two of the strongest factors of why I'm going to recommend this movie, because like I said, everything else is fine. This film really has a Creep vibe, and if you know how Creep ends, you kind of already know how this movie's going to end. So I am sorry if that kind of deteriorates you from wanting to not check this movie out. However, it's kind of like Creep of the B&B era. But its use of social commentary, it really elevates this film to be a smart, scary, terrifying, fun time, actually. Mental health moment for this movie is actually going to come from the Sara Canning character. There's a point in the movie where she is just constantly chasing after these YouTube views, and just is constantly just really like her identity is just wrapped up in this occupation. And honestly, that's a really toxic place to be. From someone that has chased for employee approval, it is not worth chasing. It's not worth it in the long run, because here's the thing is that companies and corporations, they view you as replaceable, and you're so much more than that. Plus, we should never chase after online validation for something, because it constantly makes us feel like we don't have value, we don't have worth unless we have it. The truth is, you don't need it because you do have it. So if you or someone you know is watching this, you're going through depression, and this is kind of impacting your mental health, I challenge you to take a break from the computer, take a break from social media, because honestly, I've done it myself, and I've had tons of friends that have recently stepped away from social media, taken a day, just to take a day to a week to a month to unwind, and ultimately some of them never come back just because they feel so refreshed. They're not caught up in the drama, they're not caught up in that validation, and ultimately it is a mental health refresher, and I think sometimes we don't even take that into consideration when talking about social media. And if you or someone you know is watching this right now and you need any mental health resources, check the links in our descriptions below. Suicide is currently the 10th leading cause of death in the United States. There are 132 suicides that take place on American soil as of this video, and when we look to international numbers, there are 800,000 successful suicides. That's one death roughly every 40 seconds. So please stay with us and consider the resources below. For Superhost, though, I'm going to go ahead and give this movie a 3.5 out of 5. Like I said, it does social commentary really well. Gracie Gillam's performance is out of this world, and it does a really good job at having a really intensely just likable villain. However, it does suffer from mediocre performances, awkward pacing, and just kind of predictable moments as well. Superhost is now streaming exclusively on Shudder. You guys can